Hello everyone, I'm back. For those of you watching for the first time, my name is Allison Nicely. I always like to start all of my videos by saying that I am not a counselor, I am not a psychiatrist. The topics that I discuss are things that are kind of like near and dear within my heart and kind of like my experiences. One of the things that I like to do is I like to kind of create a playlist, so kind of music is playing in the background. For the topics that I'm discussing. So the playlist I'm going to play today, I kind of created it today while I was kind of mulling over how I wanted to kind of go over this topic. And I really wasn't expecting to make another video so quickly because I just posted one yesterday. I was kind of wanting to do it, once every 3-4 days. But this kind of hit me hard last night. And this is something that I feel like that a lot of people go through. So I felt like it was really important that I go ahead and do it today while it's still on my mind. And I'm really hoping it's not going to be another 45-minute video. If it is, I'm sorry. I do like to talk a lot. And I'm hoping we don't have any distractions because my toddlers are here today watching Ryan review toys. Yeah, they love them. So I'm going to start my playlist. I did go ahead and do like a shuffle. These songs that I chose are kind of near and dear to me. And they kind of go with the topic that I'm going to discuss. So I hope it's not too loud. So I have it on shuffle. So I don't really know what songs are going to come at it what time, when I'm talking. But let's just dive right into it, okay? So like I mentioned, yesterday in my video about non-negotiables, one of the things that I like to do is watch YouTube videos. For different situations, I try to grow myself. Let me turn this down a little bit. I don't want it too loud. Okay, hopefully that's not too loud. I try to grow myself, spiritually, mentally, kind of work through some issues that I've been having and just kind of trying to get a different perspective on things. Now, what I was watching yesterday wasn't really like a self-help guide. I mean, I guess it could be, but it was a Steve Harvey. I'll just get to it. I love Steve Harvey. I think he's so funny. And some of the advice he gives is really good. So I watched a lot of Steve Harvey stuff yesterday. I just kind of get to the kick. Sometimes it's Dr. Oz, sometimes it's Steve Harvey, sometimes it's Ellen, and other times it's more like coming from counselors and psychiatrists and life coaches. It just kind of depends. So yesterday was a Steve Harvey day for me. And there was one story that really kind of stood out to me. And I watched it, and I had to watch it again and again. I did kind of make my notes again, like I did yesterday, just so I can kind of make sure I don't forget anything that I wanted to discuss. So yesterday on one of the episodes I was watching was that a woman was asking Steve about her boyfriend of 8 years. She was telling him about a situation. She was trying to see if it's a red flag. Which anytime if you want to know if something's a red flag, you probably already know it's a red flag. It's just you want confirmation from someone else. Okay, that's kind of my first thing I want to talk about. But she explained that they've been together for 8 years, and when they get into disagreements, he'll leave. Okay, I do like the fact that he leaves instead of saying, hurtful things or gets physical or anything like that. But she said that he'll leave and won't come back until 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, or sometimes he's gone for 3-4 days, or sometimes it's a week or 2 weeks, and she wants to know if that's a red flag. And Steve's face was just like, really? Are you kidding me right now? But he was like, first off, let me tell you, when he leaves and he comes back, especially if he's gone for a week and a half to 2 weeks, he's gone and he's with somebody else, and he's coming back because that other girl has already kicked him to the curb, already got tired of his crap. And he comes back because he knows you're going to take him back. And she didn't really like that, but I mean, it's kind of the truth, right? Like, where was he at until 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning? Why didn't he come home? Why did he stay gone for 2 weeks? Why was he radio silent for 2 weeks? I mean, she said that when he would get home, she would ask him, like, where have you been? Like, what's going on, right? Like, where have you been? She said that he would tell her, it doesn't matter where I was, I'm a man, and I'm going to do my own thing. And she just couldn't understand it. Like, that's what she was asking, like, is that a red flag? And Steve was like, yes, that's a huge red flag. And he goes, and the thing is, the only reason why he is still saying those things to you, still playing those mind games with you, is because you allow him to do it. And she was quiet. And I kind of had to pause that for a second. A little loud. I had to pause that for a second, thinking, all right, I like where this is going. And he goes, I would never in a million years say anything like that to my wife. Because I'm telling you right now, if I said that to my wife, that would be the last thing I would ever say to her. She would not put up with it. She would not allow it. And I had to stop that video. And I had to watch that video 3 more times just to kind of understand where he was coming from on that. And for me, it was almost like a mic drop moment. Because it's so true, right? I mean, if people continue to say things to you, continue to do things to you, and you don't want that to happen, but you don't put a stop to it, that's on you. And they continue to do those things or say those things to you because you're not confident in yourself to say, nobody. Sorry, I'm worth $1 million. No, that's not, no. That's not going to fly. You know, really, that message really goes back to the video I posted yesterday about non-negotiables, about knowing your boundaries, you know, and I want to say for a lot of women, but men too, you know, I've got some close friends that are men, and it goes to men too, that are sensitive, you know, that they know their boundaries, they know what they need to do, but they're afraid to do it. So I had to say, are they afraid of doing it? Are they not confident enough to do it? Like, what's stopping them from putting their foot down to say, stop? Like, this is not okay and I will not allow it. And when I say relationships, I want to be clear. When I say relationships, it's not going to be relationships such as, you know, a significant other. It could be. You know, if this message is hitting you hard with a significant other, great. If it's a relationship between like you and a friend, because those are still relationships, or maybe it's you and a family member, you and a coworker, you and a colleague, a boss, a mentor. When I say relationships, it can be anyone, not necessarily just a significant other. Okay? So if they know that the way that they're being talked to or the situation is not what they want, right? Like, that situation is not okay. Don't tell me it's because I'm a man and I can do what I want. No. That's not going to fly. So, is it their heart that gets in the way? Like, that's kind of my question is it their heart? Is it because they're afraid of making the other person angry? Like, they don't want them to leave again? Because they need that person? They're codependent on that person? Is it because you don't have enough confidence in yourself? Like, what is it that keeps us, and us is anyone in general, anyone at all, from knowing that boundary and not allowing those situations to continue? So I decided I needed to do a little research. I needed to dig in deep. This time I didn't watch YouTube videos or I didn't read books. I decided to take it on to myself. and I wanted to look at my personal story, you know, my experiences. And whew, I did. Took a long, hard look. I've been up almost all night. I'm sure you can see the circles under my eyes. Thinking about the stories that my friends have told me. You know, situations that they've been in, you know, with different relationships. And my own experiences. And I decided to make a timeline of events for me. I made a timeline of events of my own stories. So I went ahead and said, okay, I want to think about every relationship, and like I said, it can be anything, that has had an impact on my life, good or bad. And I want to write about it, and I want to make a timeline about it. And this is something I definitely recommend that everyone does. It takes time, and it's not easy, especially if there's some things that you were like really burying deep down because you didn't want to talk about it, or you don't want to think about it. It can be kind of hard, emotional. But it's definitely something I recommend that if you're watching this video, that it's really going to help you maybe see a pattern. So that's what I did, was I stayed up all night. I was watching The Masked Singer, right? I don't have cable. I stream everything. So I was like, ooh, what's this? And I put it on. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I watched the whole season last night while I was doing my timeline. And let me tell you, totally off subject, but on The Masked Singer, I knew from the very moment, and if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, close your ears so I don't give anything away. I'll give you a couple seconds, close your ears. I knew from the very moment that the rabbit came out and started singing, I was like, oh, that's Joey from NSYNC. I know it. And they kept saying it was somebody else. I'm like, no. And I would like be screaming at the TV when the judges would like be talking about who it would be. I'm like, no, it's Joey from NSYNC. I know my boy bands. It's Joey from NSYNC. And it was just, I know my boy bands. But anyway, get back on topic. So when you make this timeline, I tend to do that. When you make this timeline, I don't want you to really focus on all the good stuff. But I don't want you to focus on all the bad stuff either. Like, I want you to write the good stuff. I want you to think about how you were feeling at the beginning, what situation maybe kind of turned how you were feeling. Like, what is it that made you want to continue that friendship or that relationship? Or if it's a family member, well, it's a family member, but what made you want to continue it? What made you want to see what else is there, right? But then I also want you to think about the bad stuff too. I want you to think about the entire relationship. And not all relationships will be bad, right? But it's important to think about everyone that has impacted your life. Every single relationship. I was up to about 6 a.m. doing this. And then my kids woke me up about 8:30. Fed them breakfast and laid back down. For like an hour or so. So I was up to about 6 a.m. doing this, and while making the timeline of events and relationships, I realized something, that one of my best qualities is also one of my worst qualities. I'm way too forgiving. Way too forgiving of people. And people have told me that my entire life. Like, some of my really good friends have told me, like, Allison, you're way too forgiving. You forgive people for everything. And I do. And I'm way too trusting. I'll take people on their word. Because I'm not going to blatantly lie to someone, so I wouldn't expect them to. Now, I might sugarcoat some of it. I might not just come straight out and say it. But I'm not going to straight up and lie, because I'm a very loyal person. I'm a firm believer that everyone makes mistakes and deserves forgiveness. But in reality, that isn't always the case. In reality, people tend to show you who they really are really early on, and it's your decision to try to forgive them and thinking that you can change them. I promise you that if you really take the time and do this exercise, you're going to see, and you're going to do some realizations within yourself. You're going to realize Why am I the way I am? Why is it that I have these scars or these insecurities about myself? Why is it that I can't put my foot down when I know something isn't right? Why is it that I'm not confident enough? It's hard, but I promise you, you're gonna realize something. Now, going back to the Steve Harvey story, I realized that there was several times in my past relationships that I could have and should have said no. I should have said, this situation is not okay. The way you're talking to me right now is not okay, and it's not going to fly, and you need to leave. You need to get out of my life. I'm done. And if I would have, I don't think that the situations would have turned out as bad as they did. Or I wouldn't have been so hurt in the process. And would have I been hurt when it happened? Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I still would have been hurt. Like, my gosh, am I really making the right decision? Because I'm telling you right now, that's one of my fears is always making the wrong decision. Like, what if he was the right person for me? Or what if they really were supposed to be a good friend in my life? What if they were supposed to teach me something? Listen to your intuition, right? And I said that before, like, that's something I got to do, is I got to learn to listen to my intuition a lot better. And I think that's kind of the same for a lot of people, right? So when I go back and I think about these situations that I should have said no to, right? I should have said no, that this was not okay. And put it down right away. Like, you are not going to talk to me this way. You're not going to treat me this way. You're not going to break things. No. That's not okay. I have to think, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I have the confidence to say no? Why didn't I feel like I could? Why didn't I feel like that I was worth $1 million? You know, why didn't I feel like I couldn't be okay with doing that? Like, what was it about me that was stopping that? And then I started thinking about the stories of my friends that have told me about, you know, their relationships. Once again, relationships, significant others, other friends, family members, so forth, right? And I'm not going to go into details because it's their situations, their stories. I'm not going to do that. But I started really thinking about it, and I started writing their stories down too that I know of. And I realized that it's kind of the same thing. Like, they know that's not okay. They know that they, their boyfriend or fiance should not be talking to them that way. Like, they know it, but they're not doing anything about it. Or they are, but they're waffling back and forth. And it's for both men and women, right? It's not just women. So why is it that we as everyone are afraid and don't have the confidence to say bye? Like, that's not okay. That's not what you want in your life. Why is it that we know what we're supposed to do but don't? Why is it that we make excuses for situations or people? Why is it that we allow the situations to continue until we become the people that we don't recognize when we look at ourselves in the mirror anymore? Why is it that we end up turning into that person? That's a question I can't really answer for anyone else. I can only answer that for myself. For me, I realized that I will forgive, or at least attempt to, without discussing why certain behavior isn't okay and why that hurt my feelings. I'll just say okay, and I'll hold it in, and I'll hold it in, and I'll hold it in until I just explode. That's not a good thing to do either. I'll either go radio silent, completely radio silent, or I'll turn into that person. And that's dangerous. If you start turning into the person you know is not acting okay. And what I mean by that is, let's say they were like mentally or emotionally abusing you. What if they were saying things when they were angry to you that they knew was going to hurt you? And instead of being that strong, independent person that you were when you first met them, it's like you almost turn into them and try to do the same thing, almost as like a revenge or like a taste of your own medicine. I don't know if anybody else does that. I hope not, because that's not a good quality to have. But it's something that I've realized I've done past 2, 3, 4 relationships. Because if they're not wanting to listen to me of knowing how bad that hurts, well, then I'll do the exact same thing you're doing to me. 2 wrongs don't make it right. And the thing is, for me, I've noticed that as soon as I do that and I say hurtful things to people, I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty to the fact that it's like, why would I say that? That's not who I am. Like, and I'm a firm believer that if you say things when you're angry, you mean it. Like, maybe not 100%, but you'll mean it to a little bit. Like, you'll mean it to the point of where there's a little truth behind it. Kind of like with drunks, right? Drunks say something, there's a little bit of truth behind it, because alcohol makes you talk the truth, right? That's kind of where I'm getting at when you get angry. And that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. So I needed to do some deep down realization of why am I doing that? Like, why am I allowing this to continue? Am I attracting the same type of people into my life? And I think that's key, for me anyway. And I think once you do this exercise I'm telling you about is you really think about all your relationships, good, bad, ugly, and really do a timeline of good stuff, bad stuff. When was the first time that you should put your foot down and you didn't, and did it escalate? For me, I think that there are several reasons of why I do this. The reasons why I don't stand up myself from the very beginning, from like the very first situation. First, I'm afraid of making the wrong decision. So, okay, it's a one-off, it won't happen again. In all reality, if it happens again, it's going to happen. If it happened first time, it's going to happen again. Secondly, I want to believe there's good in everyone. I really do. Like, I really want to believe somewhere deep down, like, there's something good in everyone, and it's just going to take the right person to pull that out of them so that they can see how good of a person that they are. And I can be that person. Third, and this is where I might get a little emotional, but I think the third one could be for a lot with anybody, is that you believe that you deserve that. It's getting kind of hot. I'm going to take my jacket off. Maybe. You deserve that, you believe that you deserve that type of behavior. Fourth, it's what I'm used to. It's what all my relationships have been like, so it's what I'm used to. And fifth, I love this person, or I really care about this person. They didn't mean to. They won't do it again. I'm talking from experience here. If they did it once, they'll do it twice. If they do it twice, they'll do it 3 times. If they do it 3 times, they're going to do it 4 times. When I think back over my last 3 relationships, really, I could kind of go into 4th, but I don't really remember that relationship a whole lot, just because it's been a long time. Because I really haven't had a whole lot of relationships. But I kind of go back to my last 3, okay? And I'm not going to do them in order, because I don't think that's fair for those who really know me. I'm not even going to talk about really like situations of like when this could have happened, just in general. My last 3 relationships, I've been told some pretty bad things. So my question is, why am I attracting the same type of people? You know, I was told that someone would never date anybody with kids. I've been told that I'd be the perfect girl if I didn't have kids. I've been told that I could never do it alone and that my kids would never amount to anything coming from a single parent. I've been told that I'm lazy. I've been told that I'm ugly. And actually, this is a really good song that's coming on at the exact same time. So I'm going to turn the song up a little bit, because I think this could really hit home to anybody who's a single parent. I always, I've been told that no man could ever love me or my kids as their own, because what kind of man would want to raise someone else's kids? I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I've been told, I've got stretch marks. I've got kids. I've been told that no man would ever want to see me with the lights on, because no wraps or creams would ever fix that, and that I was disgusting. I've been told that I should try to get plastic surgery to try to fix it. I've been told that I'm a bad mother. I've been told that my kids would be better off with someone else. That my kids would have a much better life if I wasn't the one raising them. I've been told that I'll be single forever. I've been told that it's because of the kids of why I'm me. I've been told, maybe not necessarily told, but when someone is waffling back and forth between me and somebody else for multiple years, and then get told, well, it's just easier with her because she doesn't have kids. She doesn't have that responsibility. So everything is all based around my kids. My kids are good kids. I mean, I know every parent's going to say that, but they're good kids. I'll turn this down now. So for me, even though deep down those comments aren't true, oh gosh, I've had people tell me I'm ugly, that I'm disgusting, that I'm fat, that, people aren't friends with me for me, they're friends with me because, I make really good money and can help them out. I've been told that, guys don't get with me because of my looks. They get with me because I'm their meal ticket. Yeah, I've been told all of it. So for me, those insecurities and those words that were said to me, even though they aren't necessarily true, if you hear them enough, you start believing them. So kind of going back to the Steve Harvey story of they only continue it if you allow them to. Why was I allowing these people to continue to say these things to me? Why was I continuing to allow people waffle between me and someone else? Because for me, even though I can be confident and I can say, oh, I don't need anybody, I'm good, deep down we all want somebody. So if you find somebody, or a friendship even, or a relationship that is there for you, that wants to be there, that wants to help raise the kids, wants to do this and wants to do that, and doesn't care that you have kids, and doesn't, you feel like you have to, I don't want to say settle, but you feel like, okay, this is the best it's going to get. And you allow those bad behaviors to continue because you don't want to prove other people wrong. You want to be able to say, that's not true. Like, and you might actually have fun with them too in the beginning, and maybe even after a little while. But if someone can purposely say those things to you that they know is going to hurt you, that's not love, and that's not okay. And if you continue to let it happen, those comments are just going to get worse. Trust me. Those comments are just going to get worse. And then it might turn into other things too. You know, it might turn into other type of abuse. But it's going to get to the point of, for you, or at least for me, of where it's like, I've allowed it for so long, and you've tried to explain why that's not okay, or you cry, or you curl up in a ball, or just beg them to stop, that you finally hit a breaking point, and then you become that person to them, almost as revenge. Let me say things to you that I know is going to hurt you. I know the situation is going to hurt you, so I'm going to do it. The fact that, you're waffling between me and someone else, fine. I'll do the same thing. You come back in my life, and guess what? Oh, now I'm dating someone. You're going to have to deal with the waffleness now. Like, that's not okay. You don't want to be that kind of person. You want to be the person that is strong enough to say no, like, stop. This is not okay. This is not how I want to be treated. This is not how I'm going to treat you. So don't you dare treat me that way. And it's easier said than done, right? I totally get it. Totally get it. But somehow you got to realize that the type of energy that you put out is the type of energy that you're going to get. So when I start looking at, my past relationships, friendships, significant others, I noticed a trend. When I was kind of writing this out, doing the timeline, I noticed a trend for me. The type of people that I usually keep in my life are the people that need help, or the people that are struggling, the people that I think I can fix. The people that are going to look up to me. Instead of having people in my life where I can look up to them, I'm kind of that top-notch, I don't want to say they're below me because I hate saying that, but, that I can fix. Or that they need me. Because if they need me, then they're not going to treat me wrong, right? In my mind at the time, they're not going to treat me wrong, because what are they going to do without me? This song's hard to listen to for me. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's My Heart Will Go On. Pretty hard song for me to listen to. So if I get kind of choked up, that's why. But that's why I play these songs, or I make these playlists, because every song that's played, it's because as I was thinking of these songs came to my mind, and they mean something to me. But, so why am I choosing the people in my life where I feel like I can fix them? A really good friend of me said this probably about a year ago, because I was kind of talking to somebody who, had a really good job, had an excellent job, a better job than I did, has his bachelor's degree, has his own house, has like 3 cars, like doing very well for himself, and he was my age. He doesn't have any kids or anything like that, but he was doing very well for himself, like very professional, knows how to have fun, likes to work out, like just a fun, just overall, like you read it on paper and it seems like, hey, this is a person you want to get to know and have in your life. I never gave him a chance. Went out with him like maybe once or twice, but I never really gave him a chance. And I kept telling my friend this, and I was like, I don't know, there's just something just not there. Something's just not clicking. And my friend, he goes, is it because there's nothing for you to fix? I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, he has everything. Is it because now you're thinking, well, what do I have to offer him? I have to offer someone that's damaged in the inside, that's really damaged by some of the hurtful things that were said to me. And even though I don't want to listen to those, the idle mind is the devil's playground. Someone told me that recently. And it's so true, because I can't tell you how many times I think about that. I think about those comments of, you know, I'm damaged, I'm never going to be okay, I've got the stretch marks, you know, comment, my kids, no man's ever going to love my kids. And that's something that I struggle with inside. So is it because I feel like I didn't give him a chance because I had nothing to offer him? So it was an insecurity I had. So then I start to think back of, okay, so maybe some of these people that I had in my life where they didn't have the things that I had. So was that in their mind? Was that their insecurity? So my insecurity was their insecurity? For example, like, what did I have to offer this other guy, guy A? In my mind, nothing. So then when I meet someone else, like another relationship, one of my last three, just pick one, it's because they didn't feel like that they had the things to offer me. But even though I liked them, like I really wanted to get to know them, I had feelings for them. They were fun. Like they made me have fun. They made me get out of my corporate world. You know, they made me get out and have fun and experience new things. But was their insecurities the same that I had when it came to guy A? Possible. It's possible. But for me, I just decided, no, I'm just going to step away. I'm just going to back away from guy A because in my mind, I just didn't have anything to offer. So I'm kind of telling you this long, drawn-out story. I don't know if I'm really helping anybody with this story. I think I'm more of just babbling at this point. But something that we all have to realize is that we all have our own insecurities. And if someone chooses to have you in their life, it's because they want to have you in their life. It's not because they need to. It's because they really, really want to. There's something about you that's causing them to want you in their life. But at the same time, and this goes for everyone, okay, not just women, it goes for everyone. We know what's right and wrong. We know what type of behavior we want to have in our lives. We know what type of behavior that we will tolerate. And if you don't, then that's something completely different and you need to do some exercises to figure that out. So, and if you start seeing those behaviors really early on, getting a phone call. Solicitor. If I call, mine went blank. It was a solicitor that called. But if you, I was talking about boundaries. You know what's right and wrong, right? Like, you know that. If you don't, you need to do some exercises to figure that out. But I know what I want in my life and what I don't want in my life. I don't want unnecessary drama in my life. So, do I still miss people in my life that, I had to let go? Of course. Is it easy? No. I'm not telling you it is. I'm not telling you that the moment that you're going to remove somebody out of your life, if it was a toxic person for you, that you're going to feel 100% better right away, because you're not. You're not. There's going to be times where you're going to be fine and you're going to be on cloud nine and you're going to be confident and you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And there's other times where you're just going to break down in tears. There's going to be a song that comes on the radio and you're just going to lose it. Or you're going to crawl into bed and you wake up in the middle of the night and you go to reach your arm because you think that person's going to be there and they're not. And you're just going to cry. And you're just going to be like, but why? And the last thing you ever want to do is think of, why was I not good enough for that person? If it was a relationship or if it was a friendship, you know, why was I not good enough for that friend to be the type of friend that I want? But you can't ask yourself why. This is something I've been trying to do for a long time. You cannot ask yourself why. Why was I not good enough? That should not be the questions you're asking. You should ask, why wasn't that person good enough for me? Why did he think it was okay to treat me that way? Because you have to have your boundaries. You have to know what you want in life. And if you decide to take that person back into your life, a friendship, a relationship, I'm telling you right now, from experience, it'll happen again. It'll happen again. If it was infidelity, been there. If it was infidelity, it'll happen again. If it was name calling, been there. If it was controlling issues, been there. If it doesn't matter what the situation is, whatever you feel like is not okay. If they did it once and you take him back, that person thinks it's okay and will do it again. Maybe not right away. Maybe it will be right away. Maybe it'll just be a day or two later, but usually it's not right away. Usually it's a couple weeks or a month or so down the road, and then their true colors are back, because that's just who they are, and they think that they can get away with it. So I'm going back to the original, the Steve Harvey thing. Like, people allow this to happen because they allow them to continue. Like, right, it continues, the cycle continues because you allow it to. If you would have said no from the very beginning, you came home at 7 o'clock in the morning after a fight, where were you? Oh, I'm a man. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. Okay, honey, if you're a man and it doesn't matter where I'm going, well, then honey, take your little butt outside and don't come back into my house. Because that's not the kind of man I want in my life. Have that strong attitude. Are you going to cry afterwards? Oh, yeah. Is it going to take you time to get over it? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. It was 3-4 years before I decided to even attempt to date again. After my last one. Because I had to make sure that I was healed. And I don't think I am 100% healed, because those memories are still coming back. And maybe you're never going to be completely healed from, mental abuse, emotional abuse. But there's got to be a way for you to love yourself enough to say, listen, I've been down this path before. It's not going to happen again. And if you're going to talk to me like that, you're going to raise your voice at me. You're going to talk to me like I'm some little kid, honey. Oh, no. Back up. We're either equals in this, and we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation like an adult, or you're going to leave, and you're going to leave my life forever. My brother once told me something that I'd like to use to kind of close this video out, because we are at 44 minutes again. He told me, adults talk about it, kids run away from it. Think about that.